Today I'm recommending usable, trustworthy, and quality gear for under $2,000. We're gonna start with the cameras and work our way through other items. First, we're breaking this down by brand. Sony, Canon, and Nikon, full frame only. The reason we're talking about these three is simple. These are the three major camera systems most photographers are choosing between right now, and they all take very different approaches to solving the same problems. For each brand, we'll go camera first, then lens, and after that we'll talk about some accessories that will make your life easier, not more expensive. And just to be clear, this is a per item, not building an entire kit for $2,000 because that would be impressive but also unrealistic. Let's start with Sony. Sony's current generation camera in this lineup is the A7V, but for this video, my recommendation is going to be the A7IV because it offers almost the same real-world experience for significantly less money. At the time of recording this video, the A7V is a new item, so yeah, expensive. Anyways, the A7IV uses a 33 megapixel full-frame sensor which sits in a really nice sweet spot. You get plenty of resolution for large prints and cropping without creating massive files that slow down your workflow. As always, Sony's autofocus is excellent with reliable eye tracking for people and animals, and it performs very well in real shooting situations where things are moving and light is changing. On the video side, you get strong 4K options and a modern autofocus behavior that makes hybrid shooting feel far less stressful. Yes, the A7V refined some of these features even further, but in practical use, the A7IV delivers almost everything you need, and it regularly drops to around $1,800 when on sale in different sites. I am a Sony shooter and can confidently say that the A7IV is an amazing tool for your professional work. For Sony lenses, and lenses in general, I'm going to recommend the classic 24-70 focal length. It's just unbeatable. You can do everything with that focal length. And for the Sony side of things, there are two excellent options, and I actually own both of them. The first one is the Sony 24-50 f2.8 G lens. This lens is compact, sharp, and very underrated. The range is a bit shorter than traditional 24-70, but that's not always a bad thing. It keeps the setup lightweight and balanced, especially if you're shooting both photo and video. It's a lens that encourages intentional framing and makes your camera feel less like a brick hanging from your neck. The second option, which is also cheaper than the original Sony option, is a Sigma 24-70 f2.8. This is the classic workhorse I use every day. Bigger, heavier, but extremely versatile and very sharp. If you want one lens that can handle events, portraits, and general photography without thinking too much about it, this is the safe and reliable option. Now, both of these recommendations sit around $1,100 new. So there you have it. Now let's move to Canon. I haven't shot Canon in years, but it's where my digital career started. Canon's approach to full-frame mirrorless has focused heavily on usability and autofocus reliability, and it shows. The recommendation here is the Canon R6 Mark II. There is also an original R6, which is known as the Mark I, which was already very popular, but the Mark II refines things further with improved processing, better subject tracking, and overall responsiveness. The R6 Mark II uses a 24 megapixel full-frame sensor, which might not sound impressive on paper, but in real-world use, it's actually a big advantage. Files are clean, flexible, excellent in low light, and they don't bog down your editing workflow. Canon's autofocus is extremely reliable, especially for faces and eyes, and Canon's color science is known for producing very pleasing skin tones straight out of camera. On the video side, you get a strong hybrid performance as well, making this a very well-rounded camera. The R6 Mark II sits around $2,000, which makes it a very compelling option at this price point. For Canon lenses, we're going to change things up a little. I know I said I was going to recommend 24-70 lenses only, but the 24-105 f4 is a fan favorite for Canon users. The focal range is incredibly useful, the image quality is excellent, and the price is far more reasonable than the Canon f2.8 options you have. Yes, it's an f4, but that trade-off gives you a lighter weight, more reach, and a lens that many photographers leave on their camera permanently. This lens proves that you do not need the faster aperture to do great work, especially when the rest of the system performs as well, and it does. Trust me, there are a lot of professional photographers out there that swear by this lens. Now let's talk Nikon. Nikon's mirrorless transition has been a bit quieter, but with the Nikon Z6 Mark II, they found a very good balance. The Z6 Mark II uses a 24.5 megapixel full-frame sensor which delivers excellent dynamic range and a very good high ISO performance. Nikon colors have a distinct look that many photographers often describe as rich and natural without being overly processed. The Z6 Mark II builds on the original Z6 by adding a second processor which improves buffer depth, responsiveness, and overall performance. Autofocus is not as good as Sony or Canon, but for photography it is reliable and very usable, especially for portraits, landscapes, and everyday shooting. You can constantly find this camera on sale or refurbished for under $2,000, which puts it right into our list. If you're looking for a good professional Nikon, search no more. This is it. For Nikon lenses, the Sigma 2470 f2.8 is an excellent choice and typically sits around $1,100 to $1,200. It gives Nikon shooters access to a fast professional standard zoom without paying premium S-line prices. Optically, it performs very well and pairs nicely with the Z6 Mark II for a wide range of shooting scenarios. Nikon lenses can be expensive, which is why here Sigma jumps for the win. Now, after cameras and lenses, everything we're going to talk about here is nowhere near $2,000, and that's actually a good thing. Accessories are where you can dramatically improve your experience without draining your bank account. So let's start. Camera bags. I personally use PGYTECH backpacks and I love them. They come in sizes like 25 liters, 35 liters, very similar in concept to bags like Peter McKinnon's Nomadic line, but without the premium price tag. If you've been in the industry for a while, you know who Peter McKinnon is, and you know how much his products cost. Well, I can safely say PGYTECH has bags that feel close to the McKinnons, but cost way less. Their 25-liter version is great for everyday use, carrying a body, a couple of lenses, accessories, and even a laptop without feeling too bulky. Their 35-liter is better suited for travel days, longer shoots, or when you need extra layers and gear. The design, comfort, and organization are genuinely impressive for what you pay. I like to call my PGYTECH the poor man's McKinnon, and I mean that as a compliment. I've also recently purchased a Ulanzi camera bag that costs around $100, and honestly, it's better than it should be at that price. It feels like a PGYTECH style bag on a tighter budget. It's functional, padded where it matters, perfectly fine for most photographers who just need something reliable to carry their gear safely. Also, just to mention, the fact that it's only $100 did scare me in the beginning, but I can confidently say this bag has amazing sturdy quality. When it comes to memory cards and also keeping budget in mind, I recommend Lexar. The two things that matter the most here are capacity and speed. For photography, 128 gigabytes or 256 gigabyte cards are usually a sweet spot for a full day of shooting. When it comes to speed, B30 cards are fine for most still photographers, but if you're shooting video or high-speed bursts, you'll want something like V60 or V90 rated cards to ensure consistent write speeds. We have a whole video in this channel talking about all those numbers that show up in different memory cards, so if you want to learn more or you want more information about the subject, go check that out. Anyways, Lexar offers cards with different capacities in mind, which makes it easy to match the card to what your camera actually needs. Some people like one brand, others like another. I'm here to say that if you found a Lexar and you were worried about reliability, stop worrying. It does good. For batteries, Viltrox makes excellent budget-friendly third-party options. I've said this before, a lot of people swear that if you don't use original batteries, your camera will become an expensive brick. Honestly, after so many years of doing this, I've never had that problem with any of the possibly 10 or 12 cameras I've owned in the past. You're safe with Viltrox. One feature I really like is that many of their batteries include a built-in USB-C port, which means that you can charge them with a cable or even a power bank. That flexibility is incredibly useful when you're shooting, I don't know, traveling or long days. In terms of voltage and compatibility, they're designed to closely match original manufacturer batteries, and in real-world use, they perform very reliable. Having 2 or 3 extra batteries is not optional, it's essential, and Viltrox makes this very affordable. Oh, and before I forget, they have them for Sony, Canon, and Nikon, so go get them. For lighting, Godox or Flashpoint speed lights are easy recommendation. They are powerful, affordable, and work across different camera systems. You don't need expensive lighting to get good results, and these flashes scale very well as your needs grow. One important thing to add is that Godox and Flashpoint are the same thing. They even work with each other in terms of triggers and connectivity. Godox is Flashpoint, Flashpoint is Godox, so if you find one or the other, don't worry, you're basically looking at the same product. And I'm not saying don't ever buy more expensive flashes. What I'm suggesting is you don't necessarily have to. You don't need the most expensive gear to do great work, but you do need to make smart choices, get reliable tools, and build a setup that fits how you actually shoot. Spend your money where it actually matters. Cameras, lenses first, and support that with accessories that make your life easier. That's it for today. Thanks for watching. And as always, don't forget to follow Aftershoot in all of our social media to be always up to date with the latest we have to offer. See you guys in the next one. Bye.